Hey everyone, Reaper here again with another video. This time it's another one of the books you might want to consider getting, looking into, whatever. And it's dedicated to the independents. Now I don't have too many independent books, but I thought I would grab a few and tell you maybe that you might want to pick up some of these. Now the reason why I decided to do a video based on just on independence is because of the news that we heard that Grendel is going to be getting his own Netflix show. Now when that comes out, how successful it'll be, you never know. It's a crapshoot. But still, every time there's an announcement, of course, people start flocking to the first appearance of these characters. And although this is it, I'm not necessarily saying you should flock to this one in particular, even though it is the first appearance of Grendel. The only reason why I say that is because it's very expensive now. All right, it's been expensive for a little while, and it's going to get even more expensive, since the announcement of the Netflix show. But I have a bunch of books here that are related to maybe Grendel or some other independents that I can maybe see could get their own TV series, because it seems like today anything can get its own show. Anything, whether it's Grendel or What If, and all these other things that I'm not mentioning here, and things that we would never think about, can get their own movie or a part in a movie or a TV show, and it causes these books to go up. So you should be looking at getting some of these books right now. Again, before I put this one back, I'm just saying, for many years you could get this book very cheap, and we could say that for many books. But unfortunately, it's no one predicted 2020 how things would change, because that's when comic book prices really shot up recently. I think it was a couple weeks ago. Amazing Fantasy 15. It was a 9.6, sold for over $3 million. It's one of the most one of the biggest sales ever for especially a Silver Age comic book, and rightfully so. Because it is Amazing Fantasy. It's not Ghost Rider, first appearance of Ghost Rider, even though there's nothing wrong with that. But it is the first appearance of Spider-Man. And he's right up there now. Well, he's always been up there, I think. But definitely up there with some of the greats like Batman and Superman. I think it's etched in stone now. But anyway, let's go over a couple of the books that you can still find. Some of them might be a little pricey, and I would imagine some of them are going to start going up. But books that you never know. Okay, we'll start off with Camiko Primer number 1. This is a book that I believe has a couple of first appearances in. I'm not quite sure, but still, it's quite cheap. You could get a nice high grade 8.0, 9.0 plus copy of this pretty cheap. It's not one of those books that's now $300-400. It's still definitely under $50. Hey, what the hell, right? Here's another one. Now, this one I think is starting to go up, or has gone up in value as of late. We have Primer number 6. This is the first appearance of Evangelion. I remember this was another book that I bought years ago that was maybe like $15 or whatever. Now I think it goes for around $50. But if you could find it, a nice copy, in a range that you're comfortable, a price range that you're comfortable paying, I'd say go for it. Now, I've shown this book over and over again over the years. I've said this is a book that I think is very underrated, but I really think you should start paying attention. Now, it's not necessarily cheap. Okay, it's not $50 or $20 or whatever like that. It might cost you well over $100 for a nice copy, but here we go. Creatures of the Id, number 1. This is the first appearance of Frank Einstein, who would become Madman. I think Madman does have some potential. If things continue to go the way they're going, if Grendel's successful, they're probably going to be looking into some other characters that are independent. And I think Madman, he was very popular for a while back in the 90s. I don't know how popular he is today, but it doesn't matter. Sometimes these shows and things become speculation, and all that speculation comes in from left field. And if you could find some of these cheap or at a price, like I said earlier, you don't mind paying, I'd go for it. Continuing with Madman, I believe graphic music number 1, this is when he actually becomes Madman. Okay? And here's another one, Madman. This is the first print. I think there are 2 printings of this. I have the second printing somewhere, I don't know, but this is the first print. Okay, another milestone Madman issue series in Madman #1. Again, I believe this one, especially this one, and I believe Madman. I think this is pretty cheap. I don't know how much it is, but I think you could still get Madman Comics #1. You could find this probably in I would dare say, a dollar bin. You know, for those of you that like looking through dollar bins, it's never been my thing, you know, although I do it every now and then, but I just lose the patience and hurts my wrist just looking through each and every one of those things. Might be worth it. This is another one I showed off in a video that I think, you know, hey, it's a little underrated and one of those that you just never know. Echo of Future Past, #1. First appearance of Bucky O'Hare. All right. Like I was talking about before with Madman and Grendel and all that, if that is successful, I wouldn't be surprised if you see this, especially Grendel, because I believe this guy is in the same universe as Grendel. It's not that I believe, I know he is. Mage #1. Mage, the hero discovered. This is the first appearance of Mage. I believe his name is Kevin Matchstick or something like that. I don't remember off the top of my head, but this is definitely one you could still get fairly priced, cheap, nice copy. Definitely still got a little sticker. It's the sticker up here. Definitely one that I would look into, be quite honest. And continuing with Mage and Grendel, we have Mage I believe this is #8. No, #6. Excuse me. This is the first time you see Grendel in color, right? Because the other books he's not in color. And then this one right here, Mage #13, is the Death of Grendel. All right, so if you're looking to fill in some Grendel gaps that are not going to break the bank, that might, you know, see prices go north as we get closer to the Netflix show, which whenever that is, you know, sometimes these things take years. Well, fine. If you get them cheap now, get them cheap now. And continuing with Grendel, we're going to finish with Grendel. Here's another one. Grendel #1. This is the original Grendel was killed, and then I forget her name, but she took over as Grendel, and this is her first appearance in this book. I'll put it in the description on the bottom. And the very last one, now this one I believe is kind of hard to find, and it's not necessarily cheap. All right, and this is something I showed, like most of these I showed on my channel before. I didn't show some of them on my channel before, but this one right here, Grendel #1. You know, it's the paper that the CGC puts inside starting to fall out. I should really get this thing a new case, because this case is I don't like it. It's not that good. It's unusually thick. It's like for a Golden Age book. But regardless, this is a book that, even though it's been rare, I think it's rare. I mean, not super rare. We're not talking like Albedo 2 or anything like that, but it's not as common. But it was affordable, I think. Even mine's an A5. You know, it was affordable for a while. It cost you about $100, a little under $100. Now I think that's much different. Okay, since now Grendel has his own, he's getting his own show, and now it's his #1 in his series, so it's changed up. But I would think if you can get any of those books sooner than later, I would say you're in good shape, because a lot of them are still very cheap. We tend to go for these books when they're out of range, when they're ridiculously expensive. I see people celebrating that they finally got a Marvel Spotlight #5 at a 3.0 or a 3.5, and they spent $1,500, $1,600, $1,700 on it, or whatever it was in that range. And I'm like, whoa, you should have been looking for that book years ago. And sometimes with some of these, people might say the same thing, whether it's because they're fans of Grendel, and this is one of those things you just never get to. I can understand that. I've been down that road. Or it's one of those things that, you know, I should have bought it so I could flip it or whatever. You know, now's the time to get it. But I think maybe some of you already know that. All right. But I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll have another one of these out pretty soon. And I'm sorry I haven't, I used to make videos every week, and I've been doing it almost every other week. I'll try to do it every week again. It's just since the fall semester started, I've been very busy, very busy. So I don't always get a chance to think about what I want to make or sit down and film, or I'm too tired or whatever. But, you know, I'll still try to put videos out every week, but occasionally it might be every other week. All right, at least for the fall. So enjoy, take care, and be safe.